The Art Nouveau movement had its particular style in Vienna, and the design can be attributed to Kalimann Mosher. And certain elements of this house have very characteristic features that are notable from him. The paintings of the birds on the five-sided ceiling, the fantasy leaves painted around it, the unusual color decorations on the side, the mauve, the dark blue, the gold. These are all characteristics of that gentleman, and the wonderful carved detail on the top of the room. So we certainly can attribute this room to his design. Inside are absolutely wonderful pieces, including this Christmas tree, of a feather tree that is lavishly filled with wonderful decorations of tragants, the bread designed sculptures that were so rare to find today and are so absolutely precious. Wonderful antique Art Nouveau lamp of leaded glass, the Japanese style porcelain vase next to it, wonderful furnishings in the house. We have indeed 3 people. We have the old gentleman at the back with his very well-detailed beard. We have the gentleman in uniform sitting at the front with his mustache, and the lady of the house, and they are enjoying tea with this wonderful service that they have, and wonderful accessories throughout. The house itself here is so extraordinarily rare, and the furnishings, including the beaded chandelier, are really quite wonderful. Appropriately, Hannah Buchtis, in assembling her dollhouses, was taken with any dollhouses that could have an attribution to the Vienna area where she lived. And this wonderful Art Nouveau house by Hans Makart was one of her most cherished possessions. Notice the circular rooftop, which is very, very nice, a 3-part, and wonderful pieces inhabit this room, both in the form of people, of which you can see there are many of them. There's a whole family, and this, I love this gentleman in his all-original costume with his black beard and mustache. Among the notable pieces in the house are this wonderful silvered tea table, the silvered fireplace with the filigree figures supporting the manteltop, and on the manteltop are these wonderful little miniature silver chairs in which a little kitten is posed. Great, great pieces. Wonderful chandelier, great other pieces, including the porcelain figures at the back of the boy and girl. And among the many wonderful prints on the wall is this particular Art Nouveau done in the Louis Icart manner of a lady seated admiring her little doll. the most treasured doll rooms, stores, houses that you can find are the ones that you just could stand in front of and just keep staring at for an hour or more, and you just keep seeing different things. When I first saw this toy store, I was immediately taken, of course, with the storekeeper, who's this wonderful early papier-mâché lady. And she's standing in front of her novelty box of little tiny buttons and dolls and accessories and little trinkets for sewing. Also, inhabiting her shop, two rare papier-mâché dolls at the back, a lady and a woman in there with their original sculpted papier-mâché bonnets and their original folklore costumes, really rare. We have a little Grodner doll with fully jointed wooden body sitting down here. We have a wonderful arrangement under a glass dome. We have wonderful porcelain figures, glassware, carved bone, dolls in a basket, so many pieces. I think you could just stand in front of this and stare at it for an hour, and you would probably not be able to count the number of wonderful early pieces that inhabit this early little novelty store. '19th century toy shop. Very, very wonderful. I was visiting a collector's home recently, and they had in their library with all of their books, they had one shelf arranged of this height, and they had all books next to it, and then tucked right in the middle of the books was this little doll room, and it made just an absolutely beautiful arrangement, isolating it from all of things around it with just books next to it. And ironically, in this house, which was great, they collected toys as well as dolls, and so they had all of their toy books posed on either side of it. This is a great little room, partly because of its diminutive size, which is so rare to find, but also because of its all original interior and contents. Look at the wonderful counters and the way they're designed with the little display cases filled with all sorts of novelties and toys to tempt a little child. There are literally, I tried counting them, and I'm going to tell you, you can't do it. There are hundreds of little toys in there, from jump ropes to little dolls to little pull toy horses, everything you can possibly think of. Wonderful little treasures, and all just perfectly preserved, waiting for you. One of the prize pieces of the collection, and Hannah Buch just always treasured this greatly, is an early stove by the Märklin Company. Very, very fine. It has all of the original counters, shelving in the back, including the arch design on the top, fitted into the walls with their original paper and the gilt stenciling around them. Very, very fine. Off to the side of the store is a very classic and traditional little store office with the metal barred windows, as you can see, and the painted gilt stenciling. And inside the office, we have wonderful things like the partner desk, the double partner desk. There is a press. I'm not sure why the store has a press, but it did have a press for pressing papers together. A safe labeled CAS, and another wonderful work table over there with scales. The store itself has wonderful pieces, accessories, and food products for sale. A beautiful silver-plated bird cage with matching pedestal. And if we skip to the outside and look at the window on the outside, it's really quite extraordinary because it's all finished off architecturally and has the original painted tin sign on the top advertising the wares. And so you can see into the large display window from the outside, and then in the inside of the store are the double cabinet opening doors. A wonderful 6-room dollhouse from the Hannah Buftis collection was one of her pride and joy, and it is so filled with treasures that you could spend, again, hours just looking at it. Rock and Granite furniture is one of the highlights, particularly early pieces with the tin legs and the paper mache backs. Very, very hard to find. So let's look at the parlor first, which has those wonderful chairs in it. A pedestal table filled with little potted flowers, very, very lovely. An embroidered screen at the back that actually was a Ballspenden, a Victorian ball dance card designed to be used later on as miniature furniture. Wonderful antique furniture pieces in this room are very, very superb. Moving upstairs to the bedroom, we find an extraordinarily rare piece of rock and granite, which is the chaise lounge with the original tufted silk upholstery with a floral design. Very, very fine pieces, and other very fine rock and granite pieces throughout, including, of course, the dolls. Notice the chandeliers and the framed pieces in each room. The center staircase has the hallway with the stairs and the railings going up, and although sparsely furnished, it does have wonderful pieces in it, including this lovely folding screen. And then we skip over to the other two rooms, and we find the sitting room is quite lovely. A little bronze dog on a cushion. We have the wonderful chandeliers again. Appropriately, we have a bust of Queen Victoria, which every parlor at that time would have had. We have a carved bone and wooden spinning wheel, and wonderful lamps and accessories throughout. Coming down to the kitchen, we have fine early, more country wooden pieces. There is the tin painted cage for preserving breads and pieces hanging on the wall. Wonderful other tin pieces throughout, and two early wax ladies, which are very fine. I want to show you the outside, the exterior of the house as well, and we'll show it closed later on. But at this point, I just want to point out the original painted stonework, the brickwork, the original walls, very, very finely done with the double doors, and you'll see more of that in just a moment.